come stai? And that's about as far as my very bad Italian is going to go this evening, that's for sure. So here we are at Linate Airport in Milan, Lima, India, Mike Lima, for the start of the second leg of the Ash Cloud tour. This one is going to be very picturesque, I hope. We are going from Linate to Zurich. Milan to Zurich was the second leg of the train journey that I took through the mountains, past the lakes. Scenery was absolutely breathtaking and was a real trip to remember. Yeah, and for this I thought I would use the A2A V-tail Bonanza V35B. This is a beautiful aircraft. This is a repaint by EDRM Repaints. I'll put a link in the notes down below. But I just I love the colour, but I love the design. I think it's it kind of inspires touring, is the best way of describing it. And this is certainly a beautiful aircraft. Very much helped by that V-tail. Really makes it stand out. So anyway, order of the day. I'm not going to do a huge ground startup and check and that sort of thing. I will be doing a startup checklist. I'm not going to be doing the walk around, which you can do on this aircraft. If you want to have a look at that, check out my video where I took my first flight in the aircraft. Main object of this is to get airborne and see some nice scenery. So let's me stop waffling and let's us get flying. Okay, so let's keep this as brief as we can. Here we are in the beautiful cockpit. It's fairly early morning. Yeah, there we go. It's just come to 7:15. I have had to restart this already because my P3D software crashed, which is a good start. But anyway, here we go. So the first thing I want to do is have a wee look in the maintenance hangar. Haven't flown this aircraft for a while. I've only got 5.3 hours on it. I've been concentrating on warbirds, but let's have a look and see what we come up with. Okay, so no, that's looking good. Quite happy with that. I doubt any instruments have gone bad after that short length of time, but in case you haven't seen it, this is the bit where you get to check your instruments and make sure everything's working there. That's a cool little feature that's on this this new A2A aircraft. Okay, next thing, let's have a look and see what we've got in terms of fuel. So I'm going to fill up both wing tanks. I'm not going to bother with the tip tanks. Give the oil a little top up. There we go, that's all good. So hop into here. We are going to remove the control locks, remove the wheel chocks, remove the tie downs, and we're going to remove the pitot covers. Okay, let's move out of there. So a quick look around. I'm going to open this window in case we start to fog up a bit. Okay, so I'm going to make a note of this so I don't keep coming back to that. I always like to make a note of the power settings just so we're not fiddling about up in the wide blue. So it's 25 inches, 2,500 RPM climb, and in the cruise we're going to be 2100 to 2500. Mixtures 25 to 100. Okay, right. Let us start some notes. We don't need that. We're going to pretend we've done the pre-flight. The passengers, that's you, are briefed. Got our seatbelts, the shoulder harness on. Our flaps are up. Let's just get rid of this a moment so I can remember where everything else is in this. So flaps are in the up position. To have a quick look outside, they're up. Okay, flaps we've checked are up, radios are all off, we haven't got avionics on, circuit breakers are all in, yeah, everything's fine there, all electrical switches are off, autopilot is off, just check that, yep that is, rotating beacon is on, and fuel selector's desired tank, yep, there we go. There we go, put it on the left to start off with, and the gear switch is down, which it looks like it is. I'm just checking, yep, that's down. Okay, mixture, full rich, there we go. Prop is full, throttle is full. Battery and alt switches are on. You can hear the, I'm going to switch it off for a moment. This is a geeky little thing, but love it nonetheless. That's the beacon actually rotating under the aircraft. There you go, you see that reflecting on the ground. Cool little feature. Oh, if you can hear that in the background, that's the co-pilot. She picks her moments. Okay, I've got a very wet, bedraggled co-pilot just walked in here. Okay. So let's go back to the checklist. Wrong one. Battery and alt switches are on, or auxiliary pump. Now this is where you have to be really quick. In fact, I've actually got a separate view set up for this now, not that one, that one. So my TrackIR is all disengaged now, because what we have to do now is we have to turn this fuel pump on and just get a little bit of fuel. Essentially we're priming the engine. This is a fuel injected engine, and it doesn't take long before you're actually flooding the engine, so you've got to be really quick. And I'm kind of wanting the needle just to get round about here, and then I'm going to switch it off, and then hopefully that will give us enough without flooding the engine, which this aircraft is quite prone to. So let's check there. Okay, happy with that. Right, let's go. And that's probably too long. Unfortunately, I didn't get my click in fast enough. But hey, let's see what happens. So auxiliary pump on, we've done that. Throttle is cracked. There we go. I'm going to go back to the TrackIR view now. There we go, that's better. Okay. Everything's looking good out there. Clear prop, shout that out the window. And let's start. Oh, there we go. Wow, didn't flood it too much. Okay, let's check all our T's and P's. So we're looking at our oil pressure, which is good. Ammeter, which is good. We're showing something there. I'm going to lean the mixture back for ground up so we're not fouling the plugs. Not too much. Avionics, we're now going to engage. Module this come on. This is the Flight 1 GTN 650 and 750 on here, which I will be using. Okay, cow flaps we're going to open while we're on the ground. So I'm going to quickly put the flight plan in. You can't cross these over or transfer the information across. So I'm going to pop it in both, and it's a very simple flight plan. We're not going to go, we're not going to do anything too difficult. We might have a play as we get a bit closer perhaps, but yeah, we're not doing anything overly scientific in terms of our route. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this onto default nav so we can keep an eye on that. Put the same into here.
Pause. System test OK.
Not adding any approaches at this stage. Okay, right. Okay, so the radios we are on, we're not really using ATC or anything like that. I'll switch bits and pieces on, but I don't really intend to use them. Okay, happy there. I am just going to, if I remember rightly, set the autopilot to 4,000 feet, which is, there we go. Just where we want to be. Okay. Everything's still looking good. Okay, here we go. So, we can start to get going now. What I want to do first of all though is quickly check the altimeter setting. So, let's have a quick look here where we are. So it's 1015 millibars. Let's come out of that. And there we go. As far as the weather goes, I'll quickly check here actually, just in case it has changed. Yeah, very little in the way of weather today. I am using real world weather, but from I think a date in May back in 2017. It was kind of random, but it's not doing anything too nasty. And there you can see, really there's not a huge amount of wind, which is great. Will give us a fairly relaxed flight. Okay, just get settled here. Pop the taxi lights on. So a quick look where we are. I'm going to go for 1.8. So let's just leave that open there. I'm not familiar with this airport, and it's not a good idea to start banging into other aircraft. So let's get going straight away. I wasn't too sure if I'd probably leaned it back a bit too much, but this is pretty good. So it is a great morning to fly. Dispense with this now. Just checking there's nothing. I think I have got all my AI traffic turned off pretty much, so I'm not really expecting to see anything coming in, but you never know. Nothing coming that way, certainly nothing on the approach that way. Okay. Let's do a quick run-up check. Okay, right, here we go. Right, brakes hold, fuel quantity. Just checking that there, everything's cool there, okay there. Okay, sorry, what was I? Yeah, fuel quantity check, that's great. Desired tank, we are there. Mixture, I'm now going to put fully rich, because we're about to take off. Throttle to RPM of 1700. Let's have a quick look at all the instruments. Everything's doing what they should be. We've got nothing acting funny there. No, that's good. Let's do a quick mag check. That's cool. Slide drops on both, nothing bad. Cycle a prop. See the RPMs come down there. Let's do it again, and this time we see the fuel flow drop slightly there, and back in, and then this time we're going to, for the third time, see the manifold pressure just rise there. Okay, good, happy with that. Right, controls. Everything is good. See, we can't really see out the back here. And I've disconnected the. There we go. Rudder is fine. Yeah, I've disconnected the view of the control column. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, we're not going to use flaps. Trim tab is neutral. Happy with that. Cowl flaps are still open. Doors and windows secure. Everything's good there. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let's put on our strobe. I'm going to put on the nav at this point. We're going to take off the taxi and put on the landing lights, and let's get going. Just have another quick check, make sure nothing's coming in. Slow, horsey. Stop, another quick check. Prop, mixture, everything's where it should be. Just put that into the neutral position. Let's just come out on here a little bit. Okay. Volare. Last cheesy Italian word that I come out with. But a slight wobble there as we took off. Let's come back on the prop. Okay, climb, so we want 25. And we're looking for, we'll stay at around about 24 on the RPM. Close the window now. Just gone through 1,100 feet there. Okay, gentle left turn now. I do love the ORBX scenery. I think I know I keep saying it, but it does have a great feel. I mean, this is global base, global vector, and then OpenLC Europe. But this it's got a pretty nice Italian feel to it, I have to say. Linate there. And there in the distance is the mountains. Look at that. beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, and amazing that this is a, you know, a computer simulation. It always, when you have scenes like this, it always amazes me that this is a computer simulation. And just has this great immersion in it. Still hand flying at the moment, as you can probably tell. I'm going to disengage the landing lights now. Landing light. There we go. I need to set more switches up on my controller rather than chasing them around. Okay, so there we go. We are now still in the climb to 4,000 feet, and we are almost established on there. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is, if I remember how this works rightly, I'm going to engage nav. Engage alt, and autopilot is on. Now, I need to very quickly set it so the nose is pitching up. As you can tell, I'm not really used to flying with this autopilot. So what should hopefully happen at this point is that when we reach the correct altitude... No, I'm obviously not doing this right. We're pretty much there. Okay. Okay, I think we might have... Yeah, we've cracked it now. Okay. Fantastic scenery. Okay, so we're now at altitude, so let's go for our cruise settings. So we want 25 inches of pressure. That dropped off a little bit there. And we're going to go for 25 RPM. I'm just going to lean her out a little, just checking the exhaust gas temperature gauge there. Just easing off on the mixture. And you know what I suddenly realised? We're not following the route, because I've just set it direct on there, haven't I? So very quickly we're going to change this for my waypoint. I'm just on plan G at the moment doing some quick changes. So for my waypoint, I am looking to get onto a heading of 301 degrees. Okay, I'm going to switch over here. I'm just using my Cytec multi-switch box here to dial this in, and instead of nav I'm going to go for heading. Okay, it won't let me do it on that, so we're going to do it. Is it showing there? No. Heading, there we go. That's better. Okay, because yeah, we're not following a direct route, which is what the GTN 750 has dialed in. Of course, what we're doing is we're making a slight detour to go over Verbania, only because I vaguely remember that was a point at which the train stopped, I think. But I just thought it would make it slightly more picturesque. So we're established at 4,000 feet, everything's good there. We've got the autopilot on heading, we've got the autopilot on altitude hold. Speed is good, if a little fast. Just leaning back a little bit more. I have noticed with this aircraft, I guess, because this is A2A's first P3D fully fledged product. My frame rates in this are, quite a bit worse than any of the other aircraft. I guess that's because this just has got so much packed into it. It seems to have more of an effect. So at the moment, for example, I'm around about 16, 17, 18 frames per second. I do kind of have everything maxed out, so I've got myself to blame. Well, I say maxed out, I actually haven't. I think my autogen is somewhere around about medium, I think, for both vegetation and buildings. And I'm not running 4K. Certainly is a beautiful shape. Look at that. Gorgeous part of the world, this. Sorry, just pausing for a screenshot there. Interesting, got a little glitch in the mesh there. I should say this isn't the ORBX mesh, this is Pilot's Ultimate next generation FTX. Which for some reason has got a little knife edge in the terrain mesh there. this is what it's all about. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Fantastic scenery. How could you not love flying? How could you not love general aviation? And how could you not love Italian scenery? And this is just a simulation. The real thing must be absolutely incredible. Okay, time to get back in the cockpit and see what's going on. Just have a quick check of everything. Temps looking good, that's fine. I am going to close the cowl flap. We don't really need that open. I tell you what I am going to do while I'm here. I'm just going to quickly, wrong way, swap the tank over. We just burned a little bit in the left tank, so we'll switch it over to the right. Just quickly check the settings. 25. That's good. Look out there. So according to my map, this is Varese. And apologies for any slurping noises you might just hear, because I'm about to have a sip of tea, which of course is what we do when we're flying over Italy. It should really be limoncello, but I'm sure there's a rule against that. What I am going to do is watch out for these big, nasty, pointy, mountainous things. So we're going to go up. And get the order right. Increase the power slightly. Now you see, doing it in the right order, it all works beautifully. So we've got the altitude armed, and we're using the up and the down selector here to get our, I guess, your vertical speed. I do tend to find with this I don't, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I haven't really played with it much, but my Cytec multi-switch panel for this aircraft, I actually find it's easier to use the panel that's in the aircraft, because that gives you a much better result. So for anyone who's wondering, we are flying over the Parco Regionale Campo de... can't read it because the aircraft symbol is now over it. Whatever it is, it's gorgeous. So we're not far away now from Albania. I do apologise if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Just going to quickly check our heading. We do need to come left a little bit. Once we're overhead of Albania, we are going to need a heading of about 350. 355. Ferry just down there about to depart. You see it, but Vabani is just down there. Let's pretend we're a passenger for a moment. Where's the crisps? To our right turn here. And at this point we're looking for 359, so we will start that. 359. Those mountains in the distance with the snow, absolutely fantastic. That's another screenshot moment. When you do a flight plan, it's always a good idea, especially when flying over mountains, to check terrain. I haven't done this, I'm kind of doing it by eye, which isn't very professional, and I should have checked the height of the terrain, got my minimum safety altitudes correct, that kind of thing.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
Yeah.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
So we'll just close that off. Let's increase our rate of ascent. Very gusty over here. beautifully simulated. You'd be surprised if you were flying through mountains and you weren't getting buffeted around a bit. And this, for anyone who's interested in Englishmen who murdered the beautiful Italian language, is Parco Nazionale della Valgrande. Again, I haven't got my reading glasses on, and that's kind of what it looks like, so my apologies to all Italians who might happen to see this. Your language is beautiful, and I just murdered it. Just going through a little bit of cloud here. This is fuel injected, we don't need to worry about carburetor icing or anything like that. So, ease off now on the rate of ascent. Very, very gusty. You certainly wouldn't want to be flying with a mug of tea in front of you on this leg of the journey, that's for sure. But look at that scenery, my lord. There is something breathtaking about mountains and seeing them from the air. Wow. So we have about 29 minutes thereabouts. Changing the mixture setting there a little bit, leaning off some more now that we've climbed. Should really have done that earlier. Okay, I think what we're going to do at this point is cut forward a little bit, I think. Just to, so this isn't too tedious for you. Just out of interest, if anybody wants to comment below about whether you kind of like seeing edited highlights, or you like sitting along for the whole flight, then please do, because it's you know, it is of interest. I don't want to bore you rigid by having you along for every minute of the way. So if people would rather that when I'm doing a flight like this I cut it short, where it's going over areas of terrain that are kind of similar, then yeah, let me know. But in the meantime, we will cut to edited highlights for a little bit.
$500.
so here we are now, we're just establishing onto our approach into Zurich. To 3-4. Something I'm going to do. Let's check what our race descent is here. Now the ILS or the frequencies don't always match up with what is in the GTN, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Where's the ILS? 3-4, there we go. Let's get onto the map. Now, ILS approaches is something that I don't do a great deal of at the moment, flying warbirds, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. And I am trying to remember which one of these two actually connects onto the HSI. Might be the top one. So just in case. Let's just pop this one in. What am I doing? I'm looking at the wrong thing, aren't I? Yeah, let's try that. Actually overshooting a little bit, so I'm going to turn in. See if I can remember how to get this thing working. So you need to lose a bit more height. Interesting. He's back on the throttle there. Let's see if we can get this to work. Failing this, I will be switching to the map in prepared to see if that... okay, that's live now, so it's the top one. Okay, that's cool. Right, let's just get everything in play, get where we want to be. I'm now switching the autopilot off. We are right, or on the left of centre line at the moment. As you can see, runway is visual ahead. Pretty much bang on glide slope. So our landing lights on, for that is what we intend to do. So we'll need to come off on the speed a little bit. Increase the RPMs all the way just in case we need to do anything a little bit hairy. Slightly below the glide slope. Coming onto the centre line now. Ease back on the throttle. Trim out a little bit. Dangle the Dunlops. Let's have a touch of flap. Trim out a bit more. Drop well below the glide slope there. Wasn't paying attention to it. So now we've got a bit of catching up to do. Check, we've got 3 greens, yep, that's good. Trim again. Slightly blustery on the approach here. Zurich. It is quite blustery actually. Kind of approach that's a little bit more fun because you're constantly having to make corrections. Really anything in the way of a side wind though, or a crosswind rather, to use correct terminology. Right of centre line. High on the ILS. Okay, I'm now switching to visual.
$500.
Trim again. let's get the flap up.